The general fell in love with an orphan girl he brought back from the frontier and insisted on breaking off our engagement. Later, I was ordered by imperial decree to marry into the general's manor. On our wedding day, the orphan girl left a letter and disappeared without saying goodbye. The general blamed me for her death. After helping the new emperor ascend the throne, he exterminated my entire family. Ningjiayi, if it weren't for you, you wouldn't have died. When I woke up again, I had returned to the moment when he came to break off the engagement. This marriage was bestowed by the late emperor. If the general wishes to break off the engagement, you may petition His Majesty, the Emperor yourself. His Majesty, the Emperor, will surely grant your wish. In this lifetime, let you be the one to defy the imperial decree by exploiting your merit on a gloomy afternoon, my father, brothers. And family members were tied up at the entrance of the marketplace and publicly beheaded. The execution supervisor was my husband, Marquis of Dingbei, Xiao Huafeng. He had me bound and brought to the scene, forcing me to watch from below the platform as all 79 members of the Ning family died, as the ground became a river of blood. No matter how much I begged on my knees, I couldn't stop his determination to exterminate the entire Ning family. A torrential rain fell from the sky. Even my nephew, only 3 months old, he didn't spare. In the heavy rain, the executioner's blade fell, and the tender cries stopped abruptly in the rain. The bright yellow swaddling cloth instantly dyed red. Rainwater and blood flowed all over the ground. My body lost all strength in that instant. No longer struggling, only a bloody red scene remained before my eyes in the rain. Why? I didn't understand. The Xiao and Ning families were old friends. The two of us had known each other since childhood. Our ancestors made great contributions to this great Yuan dynasty, and the previous emperor even arranged our marriage while we were still in the womb. When he was trapped in a tough situation fighting at the border, the entire court clamored for surrender. My father and brothers, despite opposition, strongly supported him, gathering grain and supplies everywhere to help him break free from the deadlock. But after he gained power, he wiped out my entire family under the charge of treason and collaborating with the enemy. Let her go, Xiao Huaifeng laughed heartily, walking down from the platform triumphantly. As soon as he approached, the guards holding me released their grip. I seized the chance to grip the gold hairpin in my hand and stabbed it toward him. A sharp pain suddenly shot through my abdomen. The snow-white blade entered my body, the blood-red tip piercing straight through from my abdomen to my back. The blade tip was stained with blood, dripping continuously. What a shame with the guards blocking me. I still couldn't kill him. The gold hairpin was still 2 inches away from his throat. My eyes filled with hatred. Why? I needed to understand, even in death. Xiao Huafeng grabbed my hand, twisted it in another direction, and viciously stabbed the gold hairpin into my chest. Ning Jiayi, this is what you owe you. You spoke through clenched teeth. His face twisted viciously as he held the gold hairpin and stirred it inside my chest. You are that orphan girl he brought back, so delicate and willow, like too weak to take care of herself. I couldn't help but let out a miserable laugh, so he had never forgotten her. He even blamed her death on me. Wait a minute, Xiao Huaifeng. You terminal love brain patient. Your wife helped you gather provisions, helped you win battles, and you turn around and wipe out her entire family because of a white lotus flower. And you even say, this is what you owe to UR. Dude, what you owe is your IQ, okay? That green tea bitch Yan Yuar is obviously a spy, and you're so blind yet you still call yourself a general. I suggest you just change your name to Xiao Simp. This kind of scumbag should be taught what it means to suffer the consequences of being blinded by love. I was in so much pain I could barely stand, gripping his wrist tightly, filled with towering hatred. Xiao Huaifeng, you're not fit to be human. Xiao Huafeng's other hand suddenly yanked out the knife handle that was stabbed in my abdomen. The intense pain couldn't suppress the bloody taste filling my mouth, and I spat a mouthful of blood at him, falling into endless darkness. Miss, you're awake? The noisy marketplace disappeared. The weather of lightning, thunder, and raging wind and rain also disappeared. I suddenly opened my eyes, green bamboo casting shadows, spring breeze and weeping, willows brushing against the window. The room filled with brightness. Along with it came the light chirping of birds. I'll go fetch a doctor to examine you right away, Zhu Yue. I called out to her, pressing on my chest that seemed to still be throbbing with pain. After calming down for a while, I finally accepted the fact that I had been reborn. How long have I been asleep? Zhu Yue turned to look at me. her face full of worry. "Miss, after you returned from outside the city gate a few days ago, you caught a cold. The Grand Preceptor and Madam have been worried sick these past few days." That is right. In my previous life, Xiao Huaifeng was on campaign at the border for 2 years. When he returned victorious to the capital, His Majesty the Emperor decreed the city gates be opened to welcome him. I went outside the city with my father, but the person I'd waited 2 years for brought back an orphan girl from the battlefield. It was said that when he was injured, he was saved by the orphan girl. The two of them showed no restraint in front of everyone. After he said those words, "I will treat you war," I became the laughingstock of everyone. On the way back, I got caught in the rain and ended up with a high fever for several days. I collected myself and said calmly, "I'm fine now," according to my memories from my previous life. At this moment, Xiao Huaifeng was already making a scene in the front hall, demanding to break off our engagement. What did I do in my last life? Because the marriage was bestowed by the late emperor under my father's persuasion, I ultimately married him by imperial decree, and it cost the lives of all 79 members of my family. In this life, I also want to break it off, but the act of defying an imperial decree cannot be done by me. I ignored Juyu's attempts to stop me and ran straight toward the front hall. Before I even entered, I heard my father's angry rebuke. "Xiao Huaifeng, did your education all go into a dog's belly? Have you thought about Zhao Yi at all in doing this? How can you face her?" Xiao Huaifeng and I were childhood sweethearts. When the late emperor was alive, he arranged a prenatal betrothal for our mothers. So we grew up together since childhood. I was good at literature, he loved martial arts every time he went on a campaign with the old general. He would exchange letters with me, and when he returned, he would bring me some fun little trinkets, tell me about the outside world, and take me to stroll through the night market. Before this, I had never doubted our future together, but now it is different. As I stepped inside, I happened to hear Xiao Huaifeng's mocking words. "Grand Tutor, your daughter and I are fated, but not meant to be. You've always prided yourself on being from a family of integrity, so surely you wouldn't want her to suffer grievances at my place." "You bastard," Father angrily smashed his teacup. "Father." I hurried forward to support my agitated old father. Father coldly told me to step back. Just like in my previous life, Xiao Huaifeng looked at me with a mocking smile and said, "You and I are in love with each other, and I've already promised her the position of legitimate wife. Zhao Yi is also a noble lady from a prestigious family. So surely you wouldn't do something beneath your status like clinging desperately, would you? In my previous life, although it pained me that he treated me this way, I still rationally tried to persuade him that our marriage was bestowed by the late emperor and couldn't be broken off just because we wanted to. I never expected that this attempt at persuasion would be seen by him as me clinging desperately. Fine then, in this life I'll grant your wish." Seeing that I said nothing, Xiao Huaifeng continued, "If you insist on marrying me, then you can only be a concubine. Bastard, this is too much." Father's face turned red with anger. I steadied Father and looked indifferently at this man before me who had become a familiar stranger. "Fine, I agree to break off the engagement." Father panicked when he heard this. "Silence! Are you trying to defy the imperial edict? In my previous life, it was like this. My future was crushed to death by this imperial edict. In this life, I must protect myself. Father, since General Xiao has made up his mind, we shouldn't force him into a difficult position." After saying this, I looked at Xiao Huaifeng. "If you want to marry someone else, then you can petition His Majesty, the Emperor yourself, to abolish our engagement." Father was furious. "Absurd. What about your reputation?" Xiao Huaifeng ignored Father's anger and shamelessly said, "Since Zhao Yi also wishes to break off the engagement, why not have the Grand Tutor also submit a memorial explaining the circumstances? General Xiao, you jest. You've just won a great victory and are a meritorious official. How could Father compare to you? If we submit a memorial, that would be slapping His Majesty, the Emperor, in the face. After all, that was the late Emperor's edict. As long as the imperial edict comes down, I absolutely won't pester you. In this life, let the matter of defying the edict be done by you. After all, you still have military merit defying an edict, while leveraging military merit probably won't end well for you either. Fine, it is a deal." I heard that 2 days ago, Xiao Huaifeng had already submitted a petition requesting the emperor to abolish his engagement with me. In his memorial, his words were earnest. The orphan girl, Lady Yan, had saved his life, nearly losing her own life at the border to save him. This devotion moved heaven and earth. He vowed to marry her, yet was bestowed a marriage to Lady Ning by the late emperor's misplaced favor. But a true man should value loyalty and righteousness, keep his feelings and promises. Therefore he begged His Majesty to abolish the engagement. The emperor summoned Father and roughly disclosed Xiao Huafeng's petition. Father let out a heavy sigh, only saying that this matter was decreed by the late emperor, and as a subject he could not interfere, asking His Majesty the emperor to decide. The emperor was also in a difficult position. Both sides were families of merit. Whether he agreed to this matter or not, the outcome would be unfair to the Grand Tutor's manor and even more so a harm to me. At the 100 Flowers banquet in the imperial palace, Xiao Huafeng attended with Yan Yuar. He attentively kept Yan Yuar by his side, looking after her. Nearby, noble ladies spoke with mocking tones. This General Xiao really is a man of passion. He hasn't even cancelled his engagement with the Grand Tutor's manor yet, and he is already bringing his new flame into the palace to meet the emperor. General Xiao is a meritorious subject who repelled the barbarians invading the border. Not just anyone has that kind of ability. The position of general's wife that was set in stone might end up going to someone else. If you ask me, it is still Miss Ning from the Grand Tutor's manor who has grace. Juyu was so angry she was about to go over, but I stopped her. Miss, don't listen to those gossiping tongues. A marriage bestowed by the late emperor isn't so easily cancelled. I pressed down on her hand, shaking my head to signal her. Juyue's words came to an abrupt halt. In my previous life, my heart turned cold as ash. I begged Father to petition to cancel the engagement, but the emperor rejected it with charges of defying the imperial decree and grave disrespect. In the end, I nearly implicated the whole family and could only marry Xiao Huafeng by imperial order, yet he thought I was putting on an act deliberately tearing him and Yanyur apart. So in this life, our positions are reversed. He'll be the one leveraging favor to defy the imperial decree. And I'll be the victim. Miss General Xiao is coming over, Juye said in a low voice. I looked up and saw Xiao Huafeng in a purple changfu with silver thread trim, walking this way alongside the first prince, with Yanyur following beside them. The cold mockery and sarcasm behind me immediately stopped. Everyone curtsied to greet the first prince. No need for formalities, the first prince said with a faint smile. Since you ladies are here enjoying the flowers, I won't disturb your elegant pastime, General Xiao. Would you accompany me for a walk over there? Xiao Huafeng glanced at me, then gave Yanyur a firm look. I'll be right back. Then he left with the first prince. Yanyur stood to the side like a startled little deer, her pink and white gauze dress like a delicately blooming white flower. Someone walked over with a smile, so you're that orphan girl. Those from humble origins sure have their tricks. Isn't that right? She has got General Xiao wrapped around her finger. He doesn't even want the legitimate daughter of the Grand Tutor's manor anymore. Someone with status would never do such a thing. Everyone laughed behind their hands. This time I didn't come to her rescue. After everyone finished mocking her, someone spoke up to show goodwill. Miss Yan, don't mind them. Everyone's just curious about you, come. Let's enjoy the flowers together. As the words fell, someone stepped forward to pull her along. Yanyur not only didn't move, but deftly turned her wrist, her expression timid as she said, No need, I'll just wait here for the general. She looked soft and delicate, yet that person nearly fell backward as if all strength had left them. Seeing this, 2 more people came forward. Miss Yan, don't just stand there, come join us. The noble ladies surrounded her, toying with her. Someone tried to splash tea on her under false pretenses, but she easily deflected it. The scalding tea splashed directly onto the young lady from the minister's household. In my previous life, I intervened to stop them. So these things never happened, which meant many issues weren't discovered in time. But in this life, I chose to watch coldly from the sidelines, and it let me notice quite a few problems. This Yanyur is no simple woman, at least not the kind of frail, powerless damsel Xiao Huafeng described. Her seemingly evasive movements were actually quite nimble, so I concluded she knows martial arts and her skills aren't bad either. That means in her previous life she shouldn't have died at the hands of a few common bandits. There is definitely something fishy here. Just then, someone deliberately stuck out their foot to trip her. Though Yenyur's expression showed panic, her footwork was steady. She had clearly dodged their trick with ease, yet suddenly lurched forward as if falling. Just as she was about to fall, Xiao Huafeng caught her in time. General, Yenyur's eyes reddened, looking like a delicate white lotus on the verge of tears. Xiao Huafeng swept his gaze across everyone, his eyes finally landing on me, his fury evident. Ning Zhaoyi, you're going too far. What fine upbringing from the Grand Tutor's manor. Raising such a jealous and vicious woman like you. Looking at Yenyur's delicate and aggrieved appearance, his anger flared even more. Ning Zhaoyi, apologize. Apologize to you, or and I'll pretend this never happened. I was so angry, I just laughed. How blind must I have been in my past life? Now, looking at Xiao Huafeng, he just seems like a complete idiot. Although Yenyur's act is convincing, if he had even half a brain, he should have thought about it in a war-torn border region. How could a frail orphan girl possibly save him when he was severely wounded and pursued by enemy troops? Even if he didn't think much of it at first. But according to what he said after spending time together, didn't he suspect her at all afterward? Looking at it now, he really never suspected her. Otherwise, Yenyur couldn't have stayed by his side for so long. Ning Zhaoyi, have you gone mute? I'm the one who wants to break off the engagement. What is the point of you bullying Yor like this? Seeing your two-faced act really makes me sick. I've already petitioned His Majesty the Emperor to annul our engagement, so stop wasting your efforts. I pulled out a cold smirk. It is my turn to take the stage. I didn't even acknowledge him, turning instead to the person beside me. Juyu, where is His Majesty the Emperor? In reply, Miss, His Majesty the Emperor is at the Imperial Garden. Without sparing him a single glance, I lifted my skirt and strode forward. Xiao Huafeng followed closely behind. What are you going to do? That area of the Imperial Garden is for high-ranking court officials only. Women are not permitted to enter. Don't think that just because there is a decree from the late emperor, I'll marry you. Xiao Huafeng followed me all the way to the Imperial Garden. After the eunuch announced us, we had an audience with the emperor. The emperor sat in the seat of honor. Zhaoyi, you urgently requested to see me. What important matter is it? I knelt prostrate on the ground, and before I could speak, I heard father apologizing to the emperor first, then scolding me to leave. As if afraid I would back out of breaking off the engagement, Xiao Huafeng knelt on one knee and directly memorialized, Your Majesty, the Emperor, I have a request. I wish to dissolve my betrothal to the Ning family. Each word resounding and forceful. Father held the rank of Grand Preceptor, and was also an important minister of the court. Xiao Huafeng's public rejection of the marriage showed complete disregard for the imperial family's dignity, and moreover, publicly humiliated an important court minister. Insolent, the emperor was enraged. This is a marriage bestowed by the late emperor. How can you cancel it just because you say so? The assembled ministers immediately dared not even breathe loudly. I kept my head lowered the whole time, neither servile nor overbearing, but any perceptive person could see I had been wronged. This marriage wasn't something I sought, yet I had to endure the humiliation of being rejected. Xiao Huafeng knelt ramrod straight. Your Majesty, I returned victorious, and you said you would reward me according to my merits. The reward I want is to dissolve my betrothal to the Ning family. Your Majesty's word is golden. I and Yenyur are in mutual love. I beseech your Majesty to grant us this. I'm dying of laughter. This move is absolutely brilliant in the previous life. It was Ning Zhaoyi who was forced to leverage merit and defy the imperial decree. This lifetime, it is Xiao Huafeng's turn to dig his own pit and jump in. Brother, you're crazily testing the limits of courting death, using military merit to coerce His Majesty, the Emperor, into breaking off the engagement. Who do you think you are? A war god. With your IQ, I'm amazed you can even win battles. Must be heaven opening its eyes. Ning Zhaoyi's move of turning someone's own methods against them is played so smoothly. I want to give her a round of applause. Scumbag Xiao, get a taste of this social death scene, won't you? Well, this time it is finally his turn to leverage merit and defy the imperial decree. Upon hearing this, everyone's gaze fell upon me one after another. Some sympathetic, some pitying, some watching the spectacle. It wasn't until the emperor's expression grew increasingly ugly and both sides were locked in a stalemate that I finally spoke. Your Majesty, General Xiao has achieved military merit this time. and he has feelings for Miss Yan. The two of them have gone through life and death together, sharing hardships. Yet, I have been honored with the imperial family's favor and occupied Miss Yan's marriage fate. I truly feel guilty in my heart. Zhao Yi implores your majesty to annul the marriage contract between this subject and General Shao, and instead grant marriage to the two of them. I knelt devoutly, providing His Majesty the Emperor with a way out at just the right moment, presenting an attitude of, I'm very wronged, but I won't say it. The Crown Prince, who had always been frail in health, spoke up at this moment. Miss Ning truly understands the greater picture. It seems the late Emperor's marriage decree was meant to create a beautiful tale. Since General Shao and Miss Ning have no such intentions, Father Emperor, why not grant them this favor? Why would the Crown Prince get involved in this matter? I quietly lifted my eyes to look over and met a pair of deep, profound eyes. I thought to myself, this Crown Prince seems different from what I remember. Xiao Huaifeng kowtowed and pleaded, I beg His Majesty the Emperor to grant this. I collected myself and echoed, I beg His Majesty the Emperor to grant this. The Emperor sighed and could only agree. Besides dissolving the engagement between Xiao Huaifeng and me, the Emperor praised Father with a few words about raising his daughter, while also praised me for being learned, reasonable, and understanding the bigger picture. He gave a pile of gold, silver, and jewels as rewards, and to appease Father and me, even granted me the title of Princess Anning. With this, my status was actually elevated one rank above Xiao Huaifeng's. I also successfully avoided the marriage with him. The capital city was full of various opinions about my broken engagement. I couldn't be bothered with all the gossip from the outside world. The day I returned to the residence, I asked my brother to find someone to investigate Yanyur's background at the border, and I replayed everything that happened after Xiao Huaifeng returned to the capital in my previous life. In my past life, Xiao Huaifeng did not successfully dissolve the engagement with me. After the 100 Flowers banquet, he disregarded my dignity and took Yanyur out to have fun everywhere. Every day, he did it brazenly, without any attempt to hide it. In this life, after successfully dissolving the engagement, he was even worse. I had people watching over those places he went to in his previous life, and sure enough, they didn't disappoint me. According to the servants' report, they go to different places every day, but in the end, they always go to an inn called Glai Inn to eat. It has been over a month now without interruption. This really piqued my curiosity. No matter how delicious the food is, eating it continuously for half a month would be unbearable, let alone for Xiao Huaifeng, who grew up pampered with fine clothes and food. And at this time, I also received a letter from my elder brother saying in the letter that Yanyur is from Zhangbei. Over a year ago, her hometown suffered a famine and she fled with her parents to the border. Her parents died of illness on the road, leaving only her alone with no one to rely on. Later, when war broke out at the border, Xiao Huaifeng was ambushed by enemy troops and seriously injured, and she saved him. She didn't have anything suspicious about her when she was at the frontier. The cleaner someone's background seems, the more suspicious it actually is. Wouldn't normal people fleeing disasters head toward prosperous places? Why would they hide in desolate mountains and treacherous waters? There's only one possibility. She had a reason she absolutely had to go there. The next day, I changed into men's clothing, brought Zhu along, and personally went to Guilai Inn before. Xiao Huaifeng never brought me here, but now he comes so frequently. There's only one possibility Yanyur wants to come. At noon, from an elegant window seat upstairs, I saw Xiao Huaifeng indeed bringing Yanyur. The two entered a private room laughing and chatting. Before long, Xiao Huaifeng came out again, leaving only Yanyur in the private room. As my thoughts raced, I fanned myself and walked over, pretending it was unintentional. When I got close to the side room, I slowed down, wanting to hear what was going on inside. There was a faint conversation in the room. The content was fragmented and I couldn't hear it all. Did you get the thing? Not yet. I'll do it as soon as possible. Make good use of Xiao Huaifeng. Just as I was about to get closer, I heard a low shout from inside the room. Who is there? Startled, I turned around, and a hand covered my mouth, quickly dragging me into the side room next door. The next moment, I heard the sound of a door opening. The person behind me still had their hand over my mouth. Through the crack in the door, I saw Yanyur chase out, looking alert as she stared at the waiter standing at the door with a tray of food. The waiter looked panicked. Guest, I'm here to deliver your meal. Yanyu or scrutinized him for a while, and only after confirming there was nothing suspicious did she let the waiter bring the food into the room. It wasn't until she closed the door again that I finally let out a heavy sigh of relief. I turned around to see that the person covering my mouth was actually Crown Prince, dressed in regular clothes. I was very surprised to run into him here. From what I remembered, Crown Prince had a weak constitution and had been kept in the palace for years. Aside from that time at the Hundred Flowers banquet, my impression of Crown Prince was always of someone frail, constantly drinking medicinal soup. Crown Prince saw through my doubts and silently made a please gesture. Dressed in men's clothing, it wouldn't be proper for me to curtsy, so I cupped my hands in salute. I followed him into the inner partition. I asked, "Why would your highness, the Crown Prince, appear here?" The Crown Prince took a sip of tea and looked at me. "And why would Kayi be here?" After staring at each other for a while, I suddenly smiled. It seemed I wasn't the only one suspicious of Yanyuar. The enemy of my enemy is my ally. I laid my cards on the table. I suspect Yanyuar has ulterior motives in getting close to Xiao Huaifeng. The Crown Prince glanced at me. "You still want to marry Xiao Huaifeng?" Was it just me? I felt his tone was oddly sour. No, my face showed disgust. The Crown Prince took a letter from his attendant's hand and pushed it in front of me, saying nothing, continuing to drink his tea, so I just opened it and read. Good lord, he was investigating Yanyur too, but the content was a bit more detailed than what my brother had found. Besides those 2 years at the border, the Crown Prince had also sent people to Jiangbei and other places to inquire. Following Yanyur's account, they found her hometown, but the people there said the entire village had the surname Li, not a single household surnamed Yan, and they'd never seen the girl in the portrait. Moreover, the timing of her appearance at the border was very coincidental. It was exactly when Xiao Huaifeng had his first major victory against enemy forces. "You're not surprised?" the Crown Prince asked me. I shook my head. After all, I'd already had my suspicions. "When did you find out?" I asked. My brother had spent the better part of a month to uncover just a bit, yet what the Crown Prince had found was even more detailed than my brother's. The manpower and resources that must have required was beyond imagination. The Crown Prince smiled without answering, raising his teacup. "The tea here is quite good. The first prince really spent some money." Another bombshell, this is the first prince's business. I was shocked. These seemingly unrelated events appeared to be connected bit by bit. Recently, the Crown Prince has been frequently inviting me out to hang out. Every place we go to has some new discovery, always making me wonder if he knows something, or if, like me, he has also been reborn. But whenever I ask about the crucial points, he laughs it off and changes the subject. I don't mind though, no matter which situation he is in. As long as our goals align, that is enough. A couple days ago, the Crown Prince invited me to go boating on the lake again. He revealed to me that spies from the Great Jin Kingdom have been spotted around the capital city recently. Does the Crown Prince suspect that someone is secretly colluding with the enemy nation? The Crown Prince only smiled without answering, then said, "Half a month ago, a gang of bandits suddenly appeared 10 li west of the capital city suburbs, robbing homes and causing the people endless suffering." Could these two matters be connected? My heart skipped a beat. In my past life, Yanyur died at the hands of that gang of bandits 10 li west of the capital city suburbs. But in my past life, I never heard of bandits causing trouble in that area until after her death. Did someone cover up the truth about Yanyur's death, or did I just not discover the bandit trouble in time? I asked. Has the court sent troops to suppress the bandits, Ning Chaosi, elder brother? I was a bit surprised. In my past life, the Ning family wasn't involved in this matter. No need to worry, he went on my behalf. I trust he'll handle it well. The Crown Prince looked toward the lake surface, his indifference revealing determination. I thought for a moment and said, Yanyur's identity is suspicious. On the 5th day of next month, something major will happen 10 li west of the outskirts of Jingshan City. Crown Prince can make arrangements in advance. Since elder brother chose to help Crown Prince, then he must be trustworthy. The 5th day of next month was the day I married Xiao Huafeng in my previous life, and also the day Yanyur died, this time having eliminated the bandits in advance. I want to see how she dies. Crown Prince suddenly grasped my hand, lowered his eyes to look at me, and after a long while said, "In this world, only Kai can match me. Would Kai be willing to accompany me?" When returning to the estate, I had just gotten off the carriage when someone called out to me, "Ning Kai, where have you been?" I turned around to see Xiao Huaifeng with a face full of anger. "General, that is a strange question to ask." "What? I can't go out." Xiao Huaifeng glanced at the carriage, then glanced at Juyu, using his gaze to signal Juyu to withdraw. Juyu acted as if she didn't see it and continued to stand firmly behind me. Xiao Huaifeng coldly questioned, "Did you go out with Crown Prince again? Recently everyone has been spreading rumors about you and Crown Prince." I cut off his words directly. "What is it to you? I won't spoil General Xiao and Miss Yan's fun, so please don't spoil mine either, General." With those words, I turned and left. Xiao Huafeng shouted behind me, "Ning Kaoyi, you'll regret this." I ignored him completely and had someone close the estate gates directly. A few days later, the imperial edict bestowing marriage was delivered to the Grand Tutor's estate. The imperial edict reads, "Ning Kaoyi is gentle, gracious, humble, and outstanding in character and appearance. I am most pleased to hear of her. The Crown Prince has reached the age of maturity and it is time for marriage. I hereby bestow this marriage upon the Crown Prince, and an auspicious day shall be chosen for the wedding." Holding the imperial edict, I felt a trace of joy in my heart. I finally embarked on a different path from my previous life. Besides the imperial edict, the emperor gave a pile of rewards, and the Crown Prince also had someone send over a pile of treasures. Before I could finish counting them, I heard Zhu Yue report that Xiao Huaifeng had arrived. I couldn't be bothered to see him. Zhu Yue stopped him at the entrance to my courtyard mocking, "General Xiao, how free you are today. This is the Mrs. Boudoir courtyard. Irrelevant people should not come near." Xiao Huaifeng had always been straightforward in the past, but being stopped today made him quite angry. "Ning Kai, are you crazy? I kindly warned you last time, and you still won't give up. The Crown Prince is not a good match. Wouldn't it be better for you to find a scholar or a literati to marry? Why must you cling to those in power?" I was just about to go out of the courtyard to scold him when I heard the Crown Prince's scornful laugh. "General Xiao has such audacity. In this whole world, if I don't even qualify as a good match for Kai, then who could possibly qualify?" Xiao Huaifeng didn't expect the Crown Prince to suddenly visit. His face instantly flushed red, and he stammered, "Crown Prince, please forgive me. I didn't mean it that way." What does the general mean by that? Crown Prince clearly didn't want to let him off. Zhao Yi is a county princess personally bestowed by His Majesty the Emperor. There is no question of who is reaching above their station between her and me. Xiao Huaifeng mumbled again. This subject misspoke. This subject and Zhao Yi. Before finishing his words, he consciously corrected himself. This subject and the county princess grew up together, just concerned General Xiao. Crown Prince interrupted him, his gentle eyes now revealing coldness. "Zhao Yi is my crown princess. How dare you gossip about her?" Xiao Huaifeng hastily begged forgiveness. This subject wouldn't dare. Crown Prince sneered, "When you see the Crown Princess in the future, I hope the general remembers the distinction between sovereign and subject, and doesn't forget the proper etiquette." Xiao Huaifeng gritted his teeth. This humble subject will keep it in mind. Crown Prince returned to his usual composed demeanor. "Zhao Yi's matters don't require the general's concern. I hear next month is the general's wedding day. Let me congratulate you in advance." I listened with great pleasure. Zhu Yue was sensible and promptly invited Crown Prince into the courtyard. The 5th day of the 6th month in my previous life, I married Xiao Huafeng on this day. This was also the beginning of my tragic ordeal in my previous life. I still remember, before Xiao Huaifeng killed me, he said many things. The most memorable was, "If you hadn't insisted on marrying me, Yuar wouldn't have left without a word. Do you know, she died at the hands of bandits trying to preserve her chastity." I can't help but recall, on the wedding night, when he received the news that Yanyer had left a letter and departed without saying goodbye, he left behind a hall full of guests and me, taking a crowd of servants and personal guards out to search for her in the dead of night. At daybreak, he finally found Yanyer Tenli outside the suburbs of Jingshan City, but by then she had already been dead for quite some time. It was said that Yanyer had several wounds on her body, and Xiao Huaifeng was convinced that they were left from her desperate resistance against bandits to protect her chastity. From then on, he utterly despised me. in this life. The one marrying Xiao Huafeng is Yan Yu'er. I'd like to see if Yan Yu'er will still leave tonight, different from the previous life, in this life under the Crown Prince's arrangements. My brother led troops to suppress the bandits ahead of schedule. After interrogation, it was learned that they were just displaced people from other places who had nowhere to go, so they gathered in a dilapidated temple on the outskirts, begging in the city for a living during the day and sleeping in the dilapidated temple at night. And the Crown Prince, due to my reminder, had already set up an inescapable net in that area early on. At the same time, I accompanied Father to General's Manor to offer congratulations. Although I had been released from the engagement by Xiao Huafeng, he and Father were officials in the same court. So some appearances still had to be maintained to demonstrate the bearing of a legitimate daughter from an aristocratic family. General's Manor was bustling with extraordinary liveliness. I watched with my own eyes as they bowed to heaven and earth in marriage, following the trajectory of events from the previous life. I waited quietly. Just as night was falling, I slipped away from the crowd and quietly entered the inner courtyard with the personal maid assigned to me by the Crown Prince. I watched with my own eyes as 2 maidservants entered the bridal chamber, and in less than the time it takes to drink a cup of tea. Only one maidservant came out with her head lowered. Her clothing showed no abnormalities, but the bright red embroidered shoes on her feet were quite eye-catching. Watching her leave quietly, my maidservant and I exchanged glances, then returned to the front hall together. At this time, the Crown Prince and the First Prince had also arrived. Xiao Huafeng was greeting the guests with a face full of joy. I lightly nodded at the Crown Prince, then hid myself among the young ladies from aristocratic families. The Crown Prince immediately understood and imperceptibly glanced at the attendant beside him. The attendant quietly withdrew. In less than a moment, a servant who had been planted in the General's manor in advance came running anxiously to report, "General, something terrible has happened. Madam has disappeared." Xiao Huafeng, who was exchanging pleasantries with guests, stiffened and grabbed the person, shouting, "What do you mean Madam has disappeared?" We don't know either. Just now when Xiaokui brought tea in, she found Xiao Hong and Xiao Lan had fainted, and Madam wasn't in the room. Xiao Huafeng pushed the servant aside and ran straight toward the bridal chamber. The noisy front hall suddenly became heavy with tension, and everyone began discussing the bride's disappearance. In no time at all, Xiao Huafeng returned. He summoned the manor's guards, preparing to go out and search for her. The First Prince, who had been silent until now, suddenly spoke up to stop him. "General Xiao, don't be hasty. Perhaps Madam is still in the manor with so many guests coming and going today. Regarding Madam's disappearance, this prince thinks we should start by searching the manor first. Samon, assist the general in finding her. Look for anyone acting suspiciously. We must find Madam." "Yes, sir." The people brought by the First Prince stepped forward to receive orders. All standing outside the hall waiting for Xiao Huafeng's command. "That is not appropriate," I immediately raised an objection. "When was the last time you all saw Madam?" A servant replied, "About 1 incense stick ago. The general had this old servant bring Madam some food. At that time, Madam was still in her room." I looked back at Xiao Huafeng. General Xiao must have already searched the back courtyard just now. If the culprit had hidden Madam in the manor, it is impossible she wouldn't have been discovered. According to what the servant said, could Madam have been abducted? I put on a worried expression, deliberately guiding the direction of the search outward. The First Prince's face instantly darkened. I knew he wanted to stall Xiao Huafeng ever since I learned from the Crown Prince last time that the Guilai Inn was the First Prince's property. I suspected there were dealings between them. So the First Prince must have known about Yan Yu'er leaving the manor. As for what kind of deal they had between them, I'd have to find Yan Yu'er to know. Even more so in my previous life was Yan Yu'er's death also related to the First Prince. At this moment, the Crown Prince's person came to report, "Lord Ning has discovered something unusual in the outskirts, and has already led troops to investigate." Combined with the recent bandits causing trouble in the outskirts of Jingshan City, Xiao Huafeng ignored the First Prince's attempts to stop him and directly led people toward the outskirts. If there were no accidents, Yan Yu'er had gone to the outskirts. In this life, having discovered her disappearance earlier, I want to see her true face. Just like in the previous life, Yan Yu'er died. However, this time she died under Xiao Huafeng's sword. That night, Xiao Huafeng rode his steed straight to the abandoned Temple Tenli outside the outskirts of Jingshan City. At that moment, Yan Yu'er was locked in fierce combat with a group of masked people. The delicate young lady who was usually frail and unable to care for herself now had agile movements, wielding her sword to kill without batting an eye. However, she was also seriously injured. 2 accomplices were by her side protecting her, but unfortunately the masked people had superior numbers and they couldn't gain any advantage. One of the masked people took advantage of the chaos to stab Yan Yuar in the chest with a sword, attempting to seize the sheepskin map in her hand. Seeing this, Xiao Huaifeng directly joined the battle. After Yan Yuar stuffed the sheepskin map to her accomplice, the accomplice quickly fled. When the masked people tried to pursue, they were intercepted by Xiao Huaifeng, who overwhelmed them with martial force. The masked people were defeated. At this time, my elder brother and the crown prince arrived belatedly with their men. Xiao Huaifeng pointed his cold sword at the injured masked person lying on the ground. "Who are you?" That person clutched their chest as the sword tip lifted the black cloth from their face. It was a young man of 15 or 16 years old. The young man wore black night-traveling clothes, with a few small braids hanging down from each side beneath his headband. This was not the dress of people from this dynasty. "You're from the Great Jin." Xiao Huaifeng recognized it at a glance. Watching him fight desperately for Yan Yuar, the young man burst out laughing. Xiao Huaifeng directly kicked him in the chest, sending the young man spitting fresh blood. "General, kill him quickly." Yan Yuar urged anxiously, covering her chest with a pained expression. "Yuar," Xiao Huaifeng hurried forward to support Yan Yuar. The crown prince questioned, "Why did you abduct the general's wife?" The young man swept his eyes over everyone in a circle, knowing he couldn't escape, and directly sneered, "A bunch of fools." Xiao Huaifeng anxiously raised his sword to kill him, but was stopped by Ning Chaosi. "What do you mean?" Ning Chaosi said. "His Highness, the crown prince, has his own judgment." Xiao Huaifeng stared at the young man with icy cold eyes. The young man laughed even more heartily. "I am the 7th prince of the Great Jin Kingdom. Do you know who that bitch is? General, don't waste words with him. He is not a good person. Kill him quickly." Xiao Huaifeng's hesitation made Yan Yuar both anxious and panicked. "Haven't you wondered why she is here?" The 7th prince's eyes were full of malice. "Because she stole your border defense maps? Your general's wife is our Great Jin Kingdom's 5th princess, Wanyan Jiayu." No, Xiao Huaifeng looked utterly incredulous. The 7th prince laughed maniacally. "She deliberately got close to you just to get your Great Yuan dynasty's border defense maps to help her brother seize the crown prince position of our Great Jin Kingdom. You really thought you could escape that last ambush? That was nothing but a show to win your trust," Xiao Huaifeng shouted furiously. "Shut up!" At this moment, everyone's expressions had completely changed. He glared at Wanyan Jiayu with resentment. "General, it is not true." "He is lying to you?" Wanyan Jiayu grabbed Xiao Huaifeng's hand, weakly trying to explain. The 7th prince smiled maliciously. "If you don't believe me, check her chest. All of us in the Wanyan royal family have a wolf head tattoo on our chests." Wanyan Jiayu had nowhere to hide. Xiao Huaifeng pointed his sword tip at her chest, and with a flick of his hand, where the clothing tore, the tattoo was indeed revealed. "Bitch!" under Wanyan Jiayu's shocked gaze. Xiao Huaifeng killed her with one sword strike. The moment the truth came out, I literally laughed like a pig. "Xiao Huaifeng, you absolute sucker. Yan Yuar was using you from start to finish, and you still treated her like your goddess. The border defense map got stolen, and you're still being all affectionate. Is this IQ really suitable for being a spy's tool? Now you know the truth, too late. In your past life, you wiped out the entire Ning family for this female spy, and now you think killing her with one sword settles everything? Bro, debts must be repaid. Murders must be paid with life, understand? This is called karma." So satisfying the crown prince stepped in just in time. Since it involved the court, Xiao Huaifeng and the others were all taken into custody, awaiting the emperor's judgment. The matter of Jin Kingdom spies infiltrating the Great Yuan Kingdom spread like wildfire throughout the capital city. Because Wanyan Jiayu's theft of the border defense map was exposed, the emperor stripped Xiao Huaifeng of his position and had him investigated, and ordered the deputy general to temporarily command the 3 armies to guard against enemy invasion. 2 days after Xiao Huaifeng was imprisoned, news suddenly came that he wanted to see me. I refused. The Jin Kingdom's 7th prince was making a fuss every day in heavenly prison, demanding to see the emperor. The crown prince went to see him, but he refused to talk, because the matter was of great importance. The crown prince was dispatched by the emperor to inspect military camps in various regions. A few days after the crown prince left, the seventh prince was found dead suddenly in prison. Ninkayasi was ordered to investigate this case. There were all sorts of speculation about this matter. The emperor summoned all the ministers to the palace to discuss countermeasures. The Imperial Observatory reported their nighttime star observation, indicating celestial signs suggest the Great Yuan dynasty may face calamity this year, requiring prayers at Mount Wutai. Chengde Temple is 110 kilometers from the capital city. For this reason, the emperor decided to have the first prince temporarily oversee the country. He would take the remaining princes and all officials of fourth rank and above from the capital to Mount Wutai to pray for the nation's blessings. And as the future crown prince's consort, I was also included. After everyone left the capital, it gave the first prince the opportunity to make his move. The first day after the emperor left the capital, rumors began spreading in the streets, saying that the seventh prince of the Great Jin Kingdom died in the Great Yuan's heavenly prison, and Jin Kingdom was deploying troops, preparing to attack Great Yuan, causing panic among the people and refugees fleeing everywhere. The second day after the emperor left the capital, cases of robbery and looting began appearing in the capital city, and citizens started beating the petition drum one after another, begging the first prince to deploy troops to calm the people's hearts. The third day after the emperor left the capital, the first prince went to the heavenly prison to see Xiao Huaifeng, and after the two had a secret conversation for an hour, the first prince left, and then Xiao Huaifeng was released. That same day, the first prince, dressed in full military attire and leading the imperial guards, took Xiao Huaifeng and the Xiao family army and set out for Mount Wutai under the pretext of rescuing the emperor. At the same time, the third prince of Jin Kingdom, Wan Yinzong, took advantage of nightfall to attack Mount Wutai, and the mountain descended into chaos. My father and I hid with the emperor in another tent in advance, listening to the horrifically brutal sounds of slaughter in the distance that sent chills down one's spine, not knowing how long we could hide here. "Oh, outside, are those Jin soldiers?" The emperor's voice trembled. I was also a bit worried. "Your Majesty, do you believe it now?" Father said. At dusk, news came from the capital city. Before noon, the first prince had already released Xiao Huaifeng and brought the Xiao family army to Mount Wutai. The emperor was shocked. Leading troops out of the capital without permission was disobeying the imperial edict. And what is more, the matter of Xiao Huaifeng had not been settled. Yet the first prince had released him on his own authority. The mountain base has heavy troops guarding it. But these Jin soldiers were able to enter as if there was no one around. There must be an insider. Firelight shone in through the tent. The sounds of slaughter drew closer and closer. The emperor started to panic. What do we do now? Outside are all Jin soldiers. Suddenly an arrow shot in through a gap in the curtain, landing squarely in front of the emperor. Father immediately shielded the emperor. A battle horn sounded, and Jin soldiers rushed into the tent. The tent instantly became crowded. We retreated to the corner. The Jin soldiers parted to make way, and one of them turned back and saluted, calling out, "Third Prince. The Great Yuan Emperor is here." The emperor cowered in fear behind Father. The curtain lifted, and the third prince of Great Jin, holding a curved blade and dressed in black night clothes, strode into the tent surrounded by his attendants, like a cat eyeing fish on a chopping board. He looked at the emperor. The emperor's voice trembled as he tried to maintain his dignity. "How dare you? I am the Great Yuan Emperor, you insolent fools. The Great Yuan Emperor." The third prince laughed as if it meant nothing. "What are you laughing at?" Protect His Majesty. Someone come protect His Majesty." The third prince looked at us with imposing authority. "Great Yuan Emperor, stop shouting. Your people have all been captured by this prince. Now everyone outside belongs to this prince." The emperor saw the firelight rising outside the tent. His face was full of fear. At this moment, a voice came from outside the tent. "Father Emperor, don't be afraid. Your son has come to rescue you." The first prince walked in dressed in full armor. Xiao Huaifeng followed behind him. The Jin Kingdom's third prince watched with cold eyes. As if he had known this scene would unfold all along, he and the first prince exchanged a glance, then stood shoulder to shoulder, with soldiers from both sides standing guard outside in orderly fashion. The emperor looked at them in terror. "You." The first prince clasped his hands behind his back. Father Emperor, your old state affairs should be handled by your son. This invasion by the Jin Kingdom, your son will definitely handle it properly. The emperor trembled with rage. How dare you, traitorous son? First prince, are you trying to usurp the throne? I supported the emperor who couldn't stand steady, unafraid of his fury. Our great Yuan dynasty already has a crown prince who has won the hearts of the people. Your palace coup like this is neither justified nor legitimate. That is right, the crown prince. Where is the crown prince? The emperor seemed to have found his pillar of support. Your Majesty, the crown prince will definitely come to save us. I comforted the emperor, also believing in the crown prince. The first prince laughed heartily, then said sinisterly, "He won't be able to come." My heart sank. Even though I knew the crown prince's plan, warfare never had absolute certainty, and I began to worry. In the previous life, the emperor was also assassinated at Mount Wutai. The crown prince went missing after that. Later, the emperor died from severe injuries. And even until the first prince ascended the throne, there was no trace of the crown prince. In this life, I must reverse this situation. Xiao Huafeng walked up to me, staring intently at me with sorrowful eyes. "Zhao Yi, will you come back to me?" "Since he entered the tent, his eyes haven't left me," he said. "It was all my fault before. Forgive me. I will make it up to you properly from now on." His grief didn't seem fake. The first prince lost his patience. "Father Emperor, if you insist on refusing to issue the edict, your son can only arrive late to rescue you." But I felt like laughing at the sight, traitorous rebel. As the words fell, the dagger hidden behind my back stabbed straight at him. Xiao Huaifeng agilely blocked my dagger, his eyes filled with indescribable emotions. The first prince glared at me viciously. "Seeking death, beast, you dare attempt regicide." The emperor was both afraid and angry. "I will not issue the edict." After speaking, he hid behind father. The third prince laughed. The first prince truly has not won the emperor's favor. The first prince laughed in extreme anger. "I'll have to trouble the third prince for a favor. This prince can only arrive late." Before he finished speaking, a sharp arrow shot through the air. Xiao Huaifeng swung his long sword and blocked it. The newcomer dismounted and rushed into the tent. "Zhao Yiheng, release Father Emperor." Crown Prince's appearance made the first prince frown. "You managed to come back alive. This king has underestimated you." Emperor's face was full of excitement. Crown Prince said, "The 3 armies have already surrounded Mount Wutai. Zhao Yiheng has been captured without a fight." First Prince was still stubbornly resisting. Perfect timing. Third Prince, kill him, and this king will cede 2 more cities north of the river. Emperor listened with eyes wide open in fury. "Beast, traitorous son." First Prince said, "As long as you all die, this king will announce to the world. The world will only know Crown Prince rebelled and committed regicide. This king arrived too late to save you, and executed Crown Prince on the spot. This king will still have legitimate claim to the throne." "Do it." Third Prince laughed heartily. "Ruthless and merciless, First Prince is truly someone who can accomplish great things." He gestured to his attendant at his side. And as First Prince waited confidently, the attendant directly placed the curved blade against First Prince's neck. The blade tips that were originally aimed at us all turned direction. The situation reversed in an instant. Third Prince. First Prince looked at Third Prince in disbelief. Zhao Huaifeng was also restrained by the Jin soldiers. Crown Prince cupped his hands toward Third Prince. Many thanks for Third Prince's assistance. Crown Prince is too polite. This king is merely avenging my younger sister. Third Prince looked at those two with hatred in his eyes. It turned out the border defense map that Wanyan Jiayu stole had long been switched by First Prince. Moreover, while he cooperated with the Wanyan siblings on one hand, he secretly contacted other princes on the other, inciting internal strife over succession within the Jin Kingdom and causing Wanyan Jiayu's death. Supported by the crowd, Emperor walked over and delivered a heavy slap to the First Prince's face. "You disloyal and unfilial thing. I've never wronged you, yet you dare to rebel." The First Prince said hatefully, "When have you ever treated me well? Just because his mother was the woman you loved, he was made Crown Prince the moment he was born. But I'm the eldest son. I'm better than him in every way. Have you ever even looked at me properly?" "Guards, "Take him away," Emperor ordered. Xiao Huaifeng, knowing all was lost, raised his sword for one desperate strike, thrusting toward Crown Prince. Crown Prince blocked with his sword and ordered people to escort Emperor back first. The first prince thrust his blade toward Emperor. Crown Prince risked his life to protect him, giving Xiao Huafeng an opening to strike. As he stabbed toward Crown Prince, I gripped my hairpin and viciously drove it into his neck. The motion was the same as in my previous life. However, this time only the hairpin head remained visible outside. You can imagine how deep I stabbed. Blood gushed instantly. He covered his wound, looking at me with eyes full of sorrow. "Zhao, Yi." At this moment, the hatred in my eyes couldn't be hidden no matter what. He said, "I'm sorry." Crown Prince kicked Xiao Huafeng away and frantically shielded me. "Are you all right?" Xiao Huafeng's body slowly slid down, looking at me with eyes full of worthless devotion. "You got your revenge." This palace upheaval was turned around through the combined efforts of the Crown Prince and my brother. The first prince was thrown into heavenly prison. The emperor sentenced him to life imprisonment, and a month later he took his own life in prison. Xiao Huaifeng died at Mount Wutai. The Xiao family's ancestral honors were revoked, and all clan members were demoted to prohibited from taking the imperial examinations or holding office for 3 generations. The emperor, grateful for the Ning family's loyalty, ennobled my brother, making him the first military general to come from a civil official family. The third prince became the crown prince of the Jin kingdom and signed an alliance treaty with our dynasty. Both sides jointly protect border trade and develop the economy. The court is stable, and the people live and work in peace and contentment. A year later, the crown prince and I were married on an auspicious day. When he lifted my veil, he said to me, "Kea Yi, I've waited for you for 2 lifetimes." Exploiting favor to defy imperial edict. Exploiting favor to defy imperial edict refers to when a subject uses their own merits or favors to the court or emperor as leverage to threaten or disobey an imperial edict. In ancient times, this was a grave offense of disrespect belonging to the category of insubordination. Even generals whose achievements threaten the throne cannot use their military exploits to coerce the emperor into changing his decree. Otherwise, they would be seen as having no regard for their sovereign and being arrogant about their accomplishments. Light punishment would be stripping of titles and demotion. Severe punishment would be execution of the entire family.